What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Deadside video. I got a quick one here for you guys today. Just going to be going over my favorite guns to use and some guns that you should be probably choosing to use over others. Again, this is all preference and just what I find I like to use best. Feel free to use whatever you want. I'm going to be giving kind of a weapon tier list. I've never really done a list before, so bear with me on this one. I'll also be going over some kits that I'd recommend using from the early game to the mid tier to the end game kits. I'll have it all at the end of the video for you guys. Stick around, like and subscribe. Let's get into the video, guys. First off, let's start with our pistols. I'm going to be using the Beretta 9mm. This is a very common pistol that you find. Not a huge fan of it personally. 9mm doesn't do a whole lot. Pretty squishy. It has a decent fire rate, but still not one of my favorite pistols to use. Next, we got our 1911 standard issue. This thing is old faithful for me. Doesn't have a lot in the magazine capacity, but the bullets do some damage and these things slap. The only thing is your accuracy and pistols in this game are not very good. Fire rate is terrible. Generally, I just do not like to use pistols. If I can avoid it, I will at all costs. Next, we have the Makarov. Again, this is kind of old faithful for me just because of Tarkov and stuff, but if I'm being honest, again, I'm skipping this guy. He doesn't do a whole lot. It's got 8 in the magazine. You're going to die more than not, you know. Hit your shots, kid, but skip. Moving on to the TT pistol. Again, I like this thing because of Tarkov, but this thing is hot dookie. It's not my favorite. We're going to be talking pistols. It's got to be the 5.7. Probably has the fastest fire rate out of all pistols, and this thing slaps. This thing does some damage. It hurts real good. Great thing about this gun is it can be suppressed. There's only 3 other guns that really get that. You get the 1911 suppressor, which is fairly often in airdrops and heli crashes. And then you'll get your 9mm suppressor as well. Quite satisfying, honestly. If I was going to rate them, I would go 5.7, then I would go the 1911, then I would probably go your standard 9mm Beretta. These 2 things are hot dookie, and I would just throw them away forever. Next up, we're moving on to shotguns. We got your standard pump. Lower tier shotgun, not very good. Only use it if you absolutely have to. Next, we got the double barrel. This thing's great because you can switch the firing mode and actually shoot both buckshot at the same time. This works if you're able to barrel snub someone, get nice and close, do a lot of damage. Other than that, I would not use this thing at all costs. This thing is awful. We have the sawed-off shotgun that actually fits into the pistol slot, so you could classify this as a pistol if you really wanted to. In a pinch, this thing could be great if you're running a sniper kit. Again, not the greatest. The spread on it's pretty terrible. There's better shotguns. Next, we got the 590 military grade pump shotgun. This thing hits hard. It has a better grouping on it for sure, but you still don't get a lot of range. They hit hard, but there's definitely a better one, and that's going to be the N4. This thing is your go-to shotgun. Semi-auto, you can take down a squad with this thing and it just rips. You're going to pick a shotgun, it's got to be the N4. This thing can also take attachments as well. Next, we're moving into the submachine gun class. We got your classic, the BB-19. This thing, as much hate as it gets, it's honestly not the worst weapon, especially if you're able to put the muzzle brake and a red dot on this thing. It shoots pretty damn good. Would I take it over any other submachine gun? Maybe over the Scorpion, just because this thing sucks. It's not great. I would delete this thing forever. I never want to look at it again. But the BB-19 definitely ranks above that thing, and it's honestly a pretty clean early game gun to be running if you have a good bolt action on your side. Next, we got debatably the best submachine gun in the game, the P90. The recoil is a little bit nuts on this thing, but if you can figure it out, it's honestly not too bad. It's just dragged down to the left. But the fire rate on this thing, the armor piercing rounds, it's honestly probably the best gun in the game, in my opinion. If you can get up nice and close, if you're in a hallway with someone, you win, like every time with this thing. But honestly, I think this one's a pretty easy call for the submachine gun class. P90 is going to win every single time. Just because of the armor pen with the ammo, it pens like it's an assault rifle, but it shoots like a goddamn vector. Like, this thing is insane. The only other heavy-ish hitter is the UMP with a 15% armor pen. It's not great. BB-19 has no armor pen. Your MP5 is 15%. Your UMP is 15%. The PP3000 is 15%. Yes, it has a better fire rate, but you're still not going to get through armor very sufficiently. You're probably going to end up dying because of that, because you're going to hit the guy like 9 times and survive. Trust me, it sucks. P90 on the other hand, 35% armor pen. That's more than the shotguns, and it shoots at 800 rounds a second. Like, this is the best gun. We don't even need to go through the other ones. UMP looks cool with the sight and stuff. Nice little chunker. Old reliable, some would say. looks awful through a red dot just because of the unremovable iron sights. If I had to pick between all of the SMGs, it would be P90, and then it would probably be, I like this thing. I don't know a lot of people that do. Little pocket rocket, I like to call it. This PP3000. It's got a fairly easy recoil. Next up would probably be the MP5. It's got probably the easiest recoil out of all the guns, but it's just got to be P90. It's not even close, guys. Next up, we got our assault rifles. This is the baby AK. This is probably my favorite early game gun to try to get. Clear military patrol, grab a couple of these things. Even if they are slightly damaged, it doesn't have the crazy bloom like a lot of the submachine guns have. It still has a decent fire rate compared to the other AKs. With only 10% damage pen though, it's not great, but it's gonna do you some damage. It still does 34 damage a bullet. Easy recoil to control. Next, we got our other 545 AK. This is like the military style one. You're actually able to put some attachments on this bad boy. Debatably, this is my favorite assault rifle in the game. I know that's a weird one. It's not really the best by any means. It only has 20% pen and only does 34 damage. But I know the recoil, it's comfy for me. I've used it for years. This is another good mid-tier gun, something that I would use before I'm running like the 5.56 or 7.62 metas. This is a great early game gun just because it's easy to get. You get it a lot from military patrols or military bases. Somewhat of a cheaper gun too. Highly recommend. Next, we got our 7.62 class of AK. The AK mod is probably one of my favorites to use for the 7.62 class or caliber, and I'd much rather use this over the RPK, even though the RPK does have the extended drum. The recoil on this thing is next to nothing. It's the biggest laser beam in the game. It's one of my favorites to use. AK mod for the win. We got the Grom next. This thing is the ugliest fat turd I've ever seen. I personally can't stand this fucking gun, but it's a beam. It's an absolute laser beam from close. Not something you find super often. I would never use it personally just because how hideous it looks on my screen, but it's a good mid-tier gun. Next, we got our M4 or AR4 in this game. This is my favorite AR. This thing is old faithful. You find it in mission crates all the time. It's easy to get a hold of. The ammo's fairly easy to come by. You can throw a scope on this thing. You don't really need any other mods, and it's a great gun. Next, we got our other 5.56 caliber Scar. Another great mid-tier gun. This thing and the M4 have pretty identical stats, so it really just comes down to comfort of how it feels when you use it and how you're able to control the recoil. Personally, I prefer the M4 over the Scar, but again, it's all a preference thing. The AUG and the FAMAS are by far the best 5.56 guns, next to the G36 of course, with both of these guns having higher pen than the AR or the Scar. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of using them, but they are on paper a better gun. The last of our assault rifle class is the ugliest turd in the game. This is the G36C. It has a 100-round drum. This has the highest pen for any 5.56 or assault rifle with 35, which is on par with the P90 somehow. This is the spray and pray. A lot of people use this. I'm not a huge fan of it. It has really bad ergo, really bad ADS times. Just feels heavy, but it's an absolute laser beam and you have 100 bullets in a mag, so if you want to mag dump someone, this is your gun. I wouldn't recommend it over anything, but we're going to be talking about the best AR to be using. My personal favorite is the M4, just old faithful like I said, and then probably the AK mod is my second best. This is all personal preference. Obviously people are going to like using other guns. This is just something that I enjoy and my personal favorite kits to run. Just an absolute laser beam with this thing. Next, we're on to our rifles and DMRs. We're going to start off with the Mosin K. This is early game old faithful, something that you pick up early and use often. Nowhere near the top of the list of best gun, but this thing still slaps for only being able to use iron sights. You can get a hold of this thing early game. You're going to be able to win a lot of fights. Next, we're going to use what I call the bird rifle. This thing, it's hit or miss. I personally love it. This is like my early to mid game kit is get one of these things, put a hunting scope on it, and just find players. Not a lot of people have scopes early. If you can get a hold of this thing early and often, you're going to win your fights just because it has a decent fire rate for a bolt action. The iron sights are actually pretty clean and it does good damage. Like it hits 95. If you hit a headshot with this thing, someone's going to die to the next bullet. Like you're going to win fights if you use a gun like this. Next up, we got the Mosin. You're able to put a sight on this one. It's the full-size rifle. A Mosin with the PU sight is my favorite thing in the game to use. It is the most satisfying. It's the most consistent bolt action rifle that you're gonna find, so you better get used to it. This thing has potential to one-shot most people, doing 100 damage. If they don't have a good helmet on, they're pretty much dead if you click on them. Moving into our DMR class, we have the NK417. This thing is an absolute monster and shreds anyone you can get your scope onto. You can get your hands on one of these things, you're going to clean up most fights. I recommend putting on an ACOG. Just one of the cleaner sight pictures and easy to sight people in. Honestly, one of the best DMRs or guns in the game. The only one that competes is your SVD. This thing is hit or miss for me. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I actually can't stand it. But the Dragonav or SVD, it really slaps. It does the most damage compared to the NK47, but the NK47 has a better fire rate, so that's totally up to you what you want to use. Personally, I like the SVD if you're able to keep the distance, just because it's a semi-auto Mosin. You can just fire away, 10 in the magazine. SVD, best DMR in the game. Next, we got Big Bertha, we got the 50 cal, the M99. This is by far the best sniper in the game. If you want to make someone do a backflip, you put the sights on this thing. This comboed with a hammer sight, you are pretty much unstoppable if you can get a hold of this thing. It's just the ammo that's a bit of a challenge, but this is the endgame meta gun. Next, I just want to show you some kits I'd recommend trying. Going from beginner tier, mid tier, and endgame tiers. These are the kits that I like to rock personally. This is how I'd set up my loadouts. First off, we got our early game kit. This is like a basic starter kit. It's fairly easy to acquire within an hour of being on a server. Clear a military base or a basic mission, you're going to find these weapons. You're probably going to be able to get this kit fairly easily, and this will get you long into the late game. Both of these weapons are great in their use cases. They're cheap, they're easy, the ammo's easy to find. We're going to be using the baby AK for the short range and the bird rifle for your long range. This mid to low tier kit is cheap, it's effective. It's going to win you a lot of your fights in some of the easier POIs, just because how versatile and how much of a utility kit this is. A police vest and a basic ballistics helmet are easy to find and easy to repair in this. They don't offer a ton of protection, but it's better than nothing. This is a cheap, easy kit to run early game. I believe these are only 6 grand from the traders. If you can't find one, like, this is the early game kit right here. This is what you guys should be using when you're fresh to a server. Next, we got our mid to high tier kit. This is something that I use for most of the time I'm playing. This is my comfy kit, my go-to kit. You run a Mosin with a PU sight or an ACOG, preferably hammer if you can get your hands on one, and then an AR with a holographic sight. Super simple to get. You find them all the time doing missions. This is like the go-to kit for me. You can swap this with a SCAR or an AK mod. It honestly really depends on what ammo you have available. Of course, you're gonna have your bandages and sterilized rags for meds. You can swap out an SVD for the Mosin if you have it available, or you can swap in a close short range gun, something that you're really comfortable with, something that does damage. You can throw a SCAR in here, you can throw an AUG, whatever you find. Even an AK series, I sometimes like to run with the Mosin, you know. But if I'm gonna go my favorite kit, something that I like to use often, this is the kit. Again, swapping out the tactical vest for an assault vest. A little more protection with the assault vest, but you get extra carrying slots for this one because you do tend to use a smaller backpack with this kit. You're not fully kitted out. This is probably the best in slot for this tier. Again, they're fairly easy to get doing medium missions and stuff. This is a good mid-game kit, something that I run early and often as I can. For an end game kit, this is probably what you're looking at. You're going to have your heavy assault vest. You're going to have your stalker bag. You're going to have your heavy assault helmet. These give 80 protection, 80 protection. This is the max space for your backpack. Clothing, you can swag scape all you want. Next, you got your P90. You got your M99. You're untouchable close range. You have the best long range gun in the game. This is your kit. I would bring plenty of meds, as many bandages and sterilized rags as you can, med syringe or painkiller. Just because this is your instant heals, last resort, you pop this thing to get back up to full so you can quickly push again. If you have food available, I'd bring it. Next, I got the binos, and just in case I have a hammer. It's not something that I do all the time, but I do like to bring a stack of sticks and a hammer. Just in case I'm in a pinch, I can actually just throw down a foundation in front of me and give me immediate cover if possible. Not something I do again all the time, but it definitely has saved my ass before, especially when taking convoys. This ain't rocket appliances, and again, this is all kind of based on preference. These are the best guns in Deadside. 5.7 for pistol, N4 for shotguns. Personally, the AR4 is my favorite AR series in the game, next to the AK mod. And then we move on to the Dragunov or SVD for the DMR class, the Mosin, and the M99 for the sniper class. I showed you my kits of what I'd like to use. Guys, go test it out for yourself. Tell me what your favorite kits are. Like and subscribe. I got a big video coming for you guys in a few days, so stick around. I'll see you then. Peace.